D.C., New York.
Inflation is rising again, squeezing budgets and making essentials harder to afford. Inflation hit 3.8% in April. That's the highest in 3 years. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters. 3 men are sentenced for the theft of an ornate Romanian gold helmet and bracelets from a Dutch museum. We hear more on this story from international.
From the KSEV Weather Center. Tonight, expect partly to mostly cloudy skies with humidity, a few showers, and a thunderstorm. The temperature will drop to 74 degrees. Tomorrow will bring variable cloudiness with a chance of showers and a heavy thunderstorm, remaining humid with a high of 85. Tomorrow night will be partly cloudy with a few showers and a thunderstorm with a low of 77. Looking ahead to Sunday, anticipate variable cloudiness with more showers and another heavy thunderstorm in the humid weather, reaching a high of 87. With the KSCB Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
Hi, I'm Tommy Mello with Garage Door Doctors. My mom recently moved into a new home with a builder-grade garage door. Noisy, flimsy, and not built to last, so we're fixing that. Mom, you're my hero. When I was growing up, she worked 3 jobs just to save our house.
And helped you build this company.
Now I'm giving her a beautiful new garage door that's built to last. The garage is 40% of your home's curb appeal. When it looks good and it works great.
Life is good. Thanks, Tommy.
From repairs to upgrades, call Garage Door Doctor today.
Tune in to the Ray Massey Reverse Mortgage Show each Friday at 1 p.m. and Saturdays at 3 p.m. with Treybo Mortgage. Or call Ray directly at 855-266-1600 or online at reversemortgages4Texans.com.
When it's time to replace a roof, some people put it off until an emergency arises. This is Deb Tejada from Tejas Roofing, your Houston roofing company. I understand. People tell me it's way too complicated and too expensive.
Our customers tell us they wish they would have done it sooner.
I hear it all the time. Once the roof is replaced, they wonder why they waited so long because it's really not that complicated. We show up on time, we quote you a fair price, we replace most roofs in just 1 day. At Tejas Roofing, we take pride in making the process easy.
The cleanup is phenomenal. People always comment that it looks like we were never there. And now those customers sleep better at night knowing your new roof has been installed correctly.
When you know you need a new roof, don't put it off. Call me now, Deb Tejada at Tejas Roofing, 281-251-0304. Estimates are free, 281-251-0304. When you need roofing repairs, a new roof or remodeling, call us at Tejas Roofing, 281-251-0304.
Where should I begin?
Can we talk about this?
Say, what are you trying to say?
Beyond the usual controversial talk.
Blah, 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 on and on and on. Over there.
1, 2, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha.
Prepare yourself.
Okay.
For Craig.
Okay.
Preparing a mighty new spectacle here.
Articulate. Stimulating. Hit you right in the... there you go.
We start becoming a team right now.
This is the Craig Collins Show.
Oh, yeah. Lord Jesus. Oh, Lord, no.
Start talking. Talk fast.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Now your host.
He's a good man.
Craig.
This is the Craig Collins Show. KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas. I have another brand new producer sitting in that studio there. His name is Lucas. If you call into the show, you will talk to him. And if you talk to him, be nice is usually one of the first things I say. And then he'll put you on the air and you'll be on the show with me. We do have Veteran Voices coming up in about a half an hour. This is a pre-recorded conversation. So anyone watching on the live stream, and we do have several different live streams going. I do not think Facebook is working, which is a me thing. But the rest of it is. We're up on Rumble. We're up on YouTube. We're up on 2 different Twitters, 2 different X's at Radio Craig C and at KSEV Radio. So you can find us so many places. But the second half hour of the show will be a recording, so you won't see anything. You'll probably see some hold screens or something because through the magic of radio, it seems like it's live, but it's not. I recorded it yesterday, and the guy that I talked to is truly, truly awesome. All right, we have a bunch of different political stuff that I want to play, some political things that happened that I think are pretty relevant. I do really enjoy something about President Trump that Shane Gillis has joked about before. And if you don't know who the comedian Shane Gillis is, you might not be familiar with this thing that he's made fun of in a really nice way. He says that when Trump meets people, he gives them random compliments. He's like effusive with praise to the individuals that he meets and the things he says about them. And I have an example from today. President Trump speaking at an agricultural roundtable in front of a John Deere tractor, looking at a dude in the audience and just saying the dude is huge, which I thought was kind of awesome. I don't think you were seeing me on the video yet. That was my fault too. I forgot to hit that button over there. But let's go ahead and play this. This is a clip of President Trump just complimenting a dude in the audience at an event he held today.
As they say in the farming business, we had to take care of business.
You know what? Actually, that's probably my fault. I just realized this, that I didn't plug this in. So you're just hearing that off of my laptop. I'm going to have to get to that in a little bit, actually, because I don't have the thing on the table. Lucas, this is all my fault. I've done so many things wrong in the studio. You can turn that first microphone on if you want to talk to me, but you do have to wear headphones because you won't be able to hear me without headphones on. When we transition from the Amigos to this show, I try to be very, very nice, very, very respectful. The Amigos are a very important, fancy radio show, and they've been very accommodating too now. I've started to put like my laptop in the studio before and stuff, and I guess I'm just not fully paying attention yet to the things I should be doing and the things that I am not doing. Because I'm not setting everything up the way that it should be set up, but that's all right. I do have audio of President Trump. I also have audio of Abby Phillip saying some crazy stuff about Graham Plattner. I have more audio of Graham being just crazy, and one other thing from Joe Rogan that I really liked that I will get to at some point here on this show, I promise. Maybe after a quick first break, I will do some of that stuff because it's, I think, really good stuff. Did you find headphones? Did you look at them? No, you can't? Okay. All right, because I was going to introduce Lucas to the audience too, because he is brand new to this show, brand new to our station over the last couple of weeks, and doing a really great job. Very, very good with video stuff, which is something that I also really like. So we're both kind of video nerds in that respect. And then now he's got it. Now you got headphones in your right now. You still can't find anything. You were just acknowledging. He was acknowledging from the other room that he is, in fact, also a video nerd, which is awesome. And then also a guy that I think did radio for a while. In some capacity at other places, and we're happy to have here as a part of the team. So at some point, you'll probably hear from Lucas on the show. At some point, we'll get a lot of things. You know what we'll do? We'll take a very early, 2-minute break, if we have one in there set up. I'll fix the things that I broke in the studio that are my fault. I will get you some headphones, and we'll come on right back. So let's take a break, and we'll be back. This is the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas.
Texas isn't just a place. It's a feeling, a kind wave from a neighbor, sharing a plate of barbecue, or celebrating a big win on the football field. It's the way we treat each other, on and off the road. So every time you drive like a Texan, kind, courteous, and safe. Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Looking to save on energy cost? Then tune in Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. for the SolarWise Radio Show with your host, Sean Davis. That's the SolarWise Radio Show, 8 a.m. Saturday on AM 700 KSEV and AM 1540 KGBC, the voice of Texas.
The garage door springs that come standard with most homes don't last. And when they fail, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Garage Door Doctor. Our springs are the toughest in the industry, backed by our lifetime warranty.
Tune in each Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for On the Money with your host and CEO of Allied Wealth Texas, Ryan Wheelis, who can help you live your richest life possible during your retirement years. That's each Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on AM 700 KSEV.
Does your company need to be compliant with U.S. Coast Guard 2022-0802? Do you require an independent third-party vendor for penetration testing? If you do, call Tactical Cyber Services at 713-229-0030 or go online to tacticalcyberservices.com. They can work with your Internet IT group or security vendor like Witt O'Brien to make sure your documentation is compliant. Call 713-229-0030 today.
This is the Craig Collins Show with all the buttons now working. KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas. Lucas, you say hi. You turn up that first
hey, everybody.
position. Hey, look at you.
Hey, I did it. I found it.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I know that there's two microphones in there, and it's weird. You talk into the top one, which I think you're already doing.
Yep.
And then for other stuff. Tell everybody a little bit about you.
Oh, just born and bred Houston, and here I am, glad to be on the show and having a great time.
Yeah, dude. And you have a radio background. You've done a bunch of video stuff. There's some things that you've worked on. I don't know if you want to say it on the air that people would be familiar with because it aired here for a while.
I was part of the Total Wealth Academy show that used to be on here noon, I believe, and I was their audio video director.
Did they ever criticize you for any investments you were making?
No.
Okay.
No.
Every time I listened to that show, I thought that I was screwing something up. I'm like, man, these guys are smarter than me when it comes to those things.
That's, 35 years they've been doing it.
Right,
so
exactly.
They know a couple things.
Every time I swing by a Starbucks and buy myself a $4 coffee, I know that I've made a mistake.
No, not even close. Not even close.
Thank you, bud. You've also done a bunch of video and audio stuff other places. I think that you're going to be around a lot. Anything that you'd like us to know about you that has nothing to do with radio? Are you a sports guy?
I know enough to ask good questions.
Okay,
I'm
but you're not.
I'm
You
not
don't really watch it a lot.
Guy. Yeah,
gotcha.
I'm mostly news, doom scrolling, and.
So wait a minute. You work in radio, and then for fun you watch the news?
I wouldn't say fun.
Okay,
It's there.
Nice. Well, that's your other activity that you do, right? Okay,
that's
cool.
One of them.
Yeah. Do you like the beaches of the Houston area?
I know that they're contested beaches, so I've been to better, I've been to worse, and it's a good afternoon. It's a good afternoon if you can beat the traffic.
I'm fairly new. I've mentioned this before. I've been to Texas a little over a year. I've lived in Texas a little over a year now. I had visited a few times. I like the beaches. My wife and I go kind of often. We go to Matagorda. We go to, I keep wanting to call it Flagler Beach. That's in Florida, but it reminds me of Flagler Beach a lot. Surf City or Surfside. Is that the name of the beach? The one that's kind of close to your, Surfside. It reminds me a lot of Flagler Beach in Florida, which means nothing to anybody but me, I guess. Well, anybody that's listening who happens to be in Florida. But I like them. I wish you guys had better waves. That's the one thing I would say.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's just dirty oil water, and we're having a good time,
You don't have to call it that.
Well,
I prefer
it is
you
what
don't.
It is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I thought somebody told me that it's not actually oil. That the stuff in there is like just a lot of sediment and dirt and shale.
It's all the kick up.
Yeah.
And it's just coming into the shore.
All the time.
Yeah.
But I think this was a person, here, I'll tell you about this guy. I know this is not what people tuned in for, and I promise I'm going to get to news in a second, but I can't help it. I was standing on Galveston Beach like 2 weeks after I moved to Houston, because for the first month, we actually lived in an Airbnb in Galveston. And I was talking to this guy that had real short shorts on, no shirt at all, probably 70-something years old, just way tanner than any human being should be in like February, like just a very tan dude. And I'm pretty sure he was drunk at like 11:30 in the morning. Like this is the dude I was talking to.
Sure.
Pretty sure he was hammered. But he started talking to me and my wife as we were walking on the beach and goes, it's not dirt it's not dirty in there. Right. We were like, what are you talking about, man? He goes, nah, that's just shale. That's just stuff you don't have to worry about. And he gave me a 10-minute lecture on how Galveston's water is actually clean. And I think at one point he even went into the water, put a cup in that he might have been drinking beer out of, scooped it out and held it up, and it seemed like it was clean water. He goes, so you guys, you can go in all you want. And then he just walked away.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Good morning.
Forever. That guy will be somebody I remember within the first couple weeks of being here. And I remember looking at my wife and being like, I don't know if all of Texas is like this. I don't know if that's a one-off guy or if there's going to be a lot more of that in Galveston.
You can catch them a lot on the island. They're all friendly down there.
Okay. Well, yeah, friendly's one word to describe him. There were others. All right, I'll get to news. Thank you, Lucas. You are the brand new producer, one of the brand new producers that's on this show. First, I do want to play this audio. This is audio of President Trump, as I said, giving a ridiculous amount of compliments to a complete stranger. This is always entertaining when Trump does this.
As they say in the farming business, we had to take care of business. Look at this guy over here. I don't know who the hell he is, but he is one hell of a specimen, I can tell you. This guy... This is one hell of a physical specimen. I thought I was big until I met you, Joe. You're fantastic. That's what I like.
It's awesome. I love that he does this. And apparently he does this all the time, according to Shane Gillis, who met him, I think, at the Super Bowl. And Shane Gillis joked about that at the ESPYs when he hosts them. But he's like, Trump just goes down the line and gives compliment after compliment to person after person that are random. They're anything you want them to be. And then I think that Shane also said that he met Ivanka, and she's very hot. I believe that those were the jokes. Other Trump audio that I have that I thought was kind of interesting, Democrats have a restriction that is getting them in some trouble, at least when it comes to President Trump and others in the world of farming, something that President Trump was pointing out about how many failed Democratic policies are actually hurting these industries that they're claiming, that the Democrats claim that, they'd be better at helping than Trump. Because usually when you talk about anything in the neighborhood of farming and you're talking about President Trump from the opposing side, it's usually about tariffs. It's about any kind of thing that's making it harder for our farmers to make the money that they're used to making. There's never a positive. And so Trump seemed to be very willing to point some out himself. Here's one of those.
I guarantee if you were mandated, let's say you have a tractor that's broken and you know exactly how to fix it, you wouldn't be too happy about being mandated to bring the tractor back to John Deere or wherever you got it, right? You'd like to fix it.
Not so much.
Okay. I mean, they actually have, the Democrats, a restriction that if you get caught fixing your tractor, they bring you to jail.
It's true.
You know that? You know that I pardoned a man last week who was sentenced to 7 years in jail because he got fixing his car or his truck. I said, I like to always say, what did he do? Sir, he was fixing his truck. I said, how long is he getting? 7 years.
This is insane.
I said, say it again. It's the first time I've ever heard it. Like 2 weeks ago, I gave him a pardon because he had to go to jail because he was fixing his tractor or his truck.
I love the applause from the audience in that one, too. Yes, Democrats will make everything simple, ridiculously complicated, overly impossible, and then also eventually throw you in jail for some of the things that they do. That's basically the sentiment of the president. I thought it was really well done. And I even more so than that, just like the way that so very often whenever Trump conducts himself like this in public with anybody, and he's getting these standing ovations and all this stuff, it's just widely ignored by the left. They don't want you to know that people like President Trump. That's actually how far they go. And it's kind of crazy. And I know that this is repetitive. I know you've heard this before. You've probably heard it for years if you vote on a certain side of the political aisle. But when they talk about the people who are excited to get out and vote, the likelihood that the left or the right shows up for an election, I think the most effective strategy that Democrats are rolling out there that's working on younger voters who did help push Trump over the top to a degree in the most recent election. I think one of the things that's working is just pretending that he's so unlikable, just not covering any moments where he's just a regular, likable human being. And this feeds itself to certain people who also, I think, on the left, far left, hate him already. And it tries to convince others that there's just nothing redeeming about the person that they claim he is. Now, of course, a lot of people actually genuinely like him, too. It's not that they're looking for a redeeming thing, but I think that that's amazing because very often one thing that I find effective when I talk to friends of mine on the left is just showing them 2 or 3 minutes of innocuous Trump being friendly and funny and charming or whatever the things are that people call him, being a person who is successful as a reality TV show host. Just showing them that for like 3 or 4 minutes, something recent, and them going, I didn't know that Trump was like that. And that's how deep that crazy mind-warping thing is. That's how deep that rabbit hole goes. So I just find it amazing. And then actually, when you go ahead and compare it to something else going on in politics right now, you become even more stunned because as they refuse to admit that Trump is a regular, nice human a whole lot of the time, and they only try to attack him for what they think are terrible things that he says, they're forgiving someone who is actually a Nazi, who apparently girlfriends have come forward of Graham Plattner now and said that he definitely knew what his tattoo was about. Abby Phillip is one of the latest people that's a very loud member of the left and a host on CNN who claims that she has no problem with any of the scandals surrounding Graham Plattner, any of the ridiculous amount of things he's been accused of.
And the new allegations against him in the New York Times. Caroline, what do you think should happen here with this candidate?
I think he should stay in the race. I was never bothered by any of the scandals with Donald Trump. I'm not bothered by Graham Plattner's scandals at all. We have a two-tiered system of scandal in our country. If you are the establishment political candidate of either party, all your scandals get to stay nice and tidy in the closet. But if you're the anti-establishment populist candidate of either party, Republican or Democrat, all of your scandals get dragged out into the light. As long as Ted Cruz, who is a sitting U.S. senator, was allowed to flee his people in the middle of a blizzard, go off to the Four Seasons Cancun, and then when he was caught, blame his teenage daughter. If that guy gets to keep his Senate seat, Graham Plattner gets to stay in this area.
You know what's insane about that, by the way, and I know this is Texas, so you might have your own thoughts about Ted Cruz, pro or negative, that's fine. What's insane is comparing a guy who has like a Nazi tattoo to someone who wasn't here during a blizzard. Like that's actually full-on ridiculous. There's actually a lot of audio also of Graham Plattner going viral, mostly on MS Now. He claims that he does not run from any of the past questions that he gets. The reason to play this here, by the way, the reason to talk about topics like this and not be hyper-local 24/7 on the show, even though I definitely talk about local politics, I definitely will discuss Ken Paxton and how much better of a candidate he seems to be than Tallarico across the board in every single way you possibly can. But the reason to do this is to demonstrate to you what the actual belief system is of the left, and Tallarico is a poster boy for the most insane things that are on the left. Graham Plattner is another crazy person that apparently they very much like. But here's a little bit of Graham on MS Now, dodging questions and acting certain ways when asked some of the things that he claims that he's completely willing to talk about.
When we've been faced with allegations of things, when people have brought up stuff from my past, I don't run away from it.
Graham Plattner, why were you on a kid's sex app?
You deserve to represent Maine.
Do you have no shame?
Are there more shoes to drop on your past?
And he walks away from all of that. I'm going to stop it right there. There are a bunch more. Some of them I think do have bad words in them. But yes, Graham Plattner literally runs away from people who ask him questions, like being on a Kick app, like anything that he does. And it's just kind of ridiculous to think, again, that some people out there would call that a two-party system. Where the left is somehow treated the same as the right. It's ridiculous. There's no version of this that's even remotely true. The right is always treated, even the right establishment candidates, non-establishment, I don't care who they are, they're treated viciously by a vast majority of the media people that exist in this country. And there is a two-tiered system, but they care about whether or not you have an R in front of your name or a D. That's all that matters. All right, we're going to take our second break. Actually, for this break, we take all the rest of the commercials that are left because then we come back and we do half an hour uninterrupted. We call that Veteran Voices. We do that every single Friday here on KSEV KGBC from 6:30 to 7 o'clock. I am very excited to have a guest on who will talk about Operation Finally Home. It is an organization that's been in town for about 20-something years. They have done a bunch of work, not just here in Texas, but in, I think, 41 states. You'll find out more in a little bit, but the most amazing part, the most moving part of the conversation to me is what got the founder and CEO into the position that he's in now, into the profession that he's in now, and someone who has been doing this and helping veterans for so long. Completely free homes. They renovate them. They build them. It's an amazing story that is coming up in just a bit. This is The Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas.
Don't last. And when they fail, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Mello, owner of Garage Door Doctor. Our springs are the toughest in the industry, backed by our lifetime warranty.
Tune in each Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for On the Money with your host and CEO of Allied Wealth Texas, Ryan Wheelis, who can help you live your richest life possible during your retirement years. That's each Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on AM 700 KSEV.
Your smartphone is now your radio. All you need is a KSEV app. And with one click, you're listening to KSEV. Anytime, anywhere. No static, no boundaries. Go to the Android Marketplace or the iPhone App Store. Search KSEV. Select the KSEV app. It's free and it only takes a couple of minutes. Listen to KSEV. It's easy with the KSEV app. More details at ksevradio.com.
Does your company need to be compliant with U.S. Coast Guard 2022-0802? Do you require an independent third-party vendor for penetration testing? If you do, call Tactical Cyber Services at 713-229-0030 or go online to tacticalcyberservices.com. We can work with your internal IT group or your security vendor like Whit O'Brien to make sure your documentation is compliant. Call 713-229-0030 today.
Hey y'all, Craig Collins here. Please check out my brand new show from 6 to 7 o'clock Monday through Friday right here on The Voice of Texas. And also, please check out our relatively new social media pages. That's at KSEV Radio on YouTube and Rumble. We are live streaming more and more of our content there every day. And finally, check out my social media pages at Radio Craig C on X and Facebook. That's The Craig Collins Show, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 o'clock and wherever you get your podcasts on KSEV KGBC, The Voice of Texas.
Do you need money? Want to lower your monthly debt? Are you thinking about a cash-out refinance? Hi, it's Kathy from Baker Mortgage. A cash-out refinance can get you back in your comfort zone, and that's what it's all about. A recent client who closed with us had his payment go up about $300, but his monthly outgo was being reduced by $1,200, so giving him a net positive cash flow of $900. It's not about adding debt, but restructuring it in a way that makes sense. And this math totally makes sense. And please don't sweat it if your interest rate is going up a little or if you're extending the term. I can show you by taking a small amount of what you're saving monthly and applying it towards your mortgage, you're going to pay it off just as quickly and you'll be way ahead in the money game, which is where we all want to be, right? Remember, we want to help you, but we're not going to help you over a cliff. Baker Mortgage, 281-313-MOVE, or go directly to bakermortgage.com.
Equal housing lender, license number 263213.
KSEV and its advertisers want to thank you, the listeners, for all your continued support. Without you supporting our advertisers, there would not be a Voice of Texas. We stand behind our clients, and if you're looking to boost and grow your business, join the great team at KSEV and its loyal audience by calling a member of our sales staff at 281-588-4800. That's 281-588-4800. KSEV, loyal listeners and dependable advertisers are the Voice of Texas.
My next guest, and thrilled to do another episode of Veteran Voices here on the show. We do this every Friday, uninterrupted conversation, no commercials, with a veteran. We are talking to Dan Walrath. Dan is the founder of Operation Finally Home. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Thank you so much, Craig.
Thrilled to have you on. We're going to talk about Operation Finally Home in just a little bit. You're going to tell us what it is, how you're helping veterans get mortgage-free homes, which is amazing. But why veterans as the people you wanted to help with your organization?
Well, to kind of give you a little background, that is back in 2005. I was building custom homes in the Houston area, and I've been doing so for several years. And I had the opportunity to meet a family that their son had been serving as a Marine in Iraq. And his group had run over IED, and he had sustained some severe head injuries. And his family, they needed to bring their son home, but their home didn't accommodate his injuries. So they had called me and asked me if I'd come talk to them about renovating their home. And I was a little confused because I was not a remodeler. I was a custom home builder, but I went and visited with the family, and they told me about their son's injuries and what he had gone through and what the family had gone through as a result of that. And you know, I just, at that time, they were, the mom was a school teacher, dad was a salesman. So mom was going to have to quit her job to be a full-time caregiver. And they were really in a tight spot. And I had told them that because of their situation, that I knew a bunch of fellas down in the Clear Lake area. Then I was past president of the Builder Association, and I told them, I said, let us take care of it for you. And so we did. We did a pretty intense remodel on their home and enabled them to bring their son home. And so that's sort of the beginning of Operation Finally Home 21 years ago.
Wow. Okay. I definitely have questions about that story and about the emotions of doing that. But before I get too far ahead, we might as well give a definition to the audience, let everybody know. What is Operation Finally Home? What do you guys do?
Well, we build mortgage-free homes for the wounded, ill, and injured service members, and we do that through mostly through builder groups throughout the nation, and also we do home modifications, and mostly for a lot of Vietnam vets. That's their homes that just not that doesn't accommodate they're aging in place, and we do a lot of shower renovations. A lot of accessibility issues, ramps, just all kinds of things to make life easier and safer and healthy for our Vietnam vets.
And you've served over 1,400 people. I've seen 41 states have been represented. Are you guys, your home base is here in Houston, though?
No, it was, and I retired from the building business back in 2008, and I moved to the Hill Country. I'm in
Gotcha.
out here in God's country now, so I live in the New Braunfels area.
Nice.
So,
okay.
yeah.
I want to go back to that first story you told about that first veteran. You're a person that's not doing anything in the world of charity specifically, or at least in the world in which you live now, and you're called to this house and you're talking to this family, and it's just sort of, it sounds like both emotionally and maybe mentally dawning on you that you might be the right guy to help people, which I love every time we talk to someone who's involved with a veteran organization or created one. And I think one of my previous guests said, God just kind of pushes you in a direction sometimes. Right. And it sounds like that's what happened to you. Do you recall the emotions when you told the family you were going to be capable of doing this for free for them?
Yeah, it was, and that's exactly what took place is, God just kind of touched my heart, and I just felt compelled that he wanted us to help this family, and we did. And after we, did that first project, it was pretty much talked to my wife about it, and just couldn't figure out what I needed to do next, but I just knew that God was prompting me to do something. And so, my wife and I prayed about it, and we talked about it, and I went back to a builder group, and I told the guys, I said, look, this is what we do. The easiest thing for a builder to do is build a home. And I said, why don't we build a home for a family in need? And everybody was like, sure, let's do that. And we did. And at that time, we were not a 501c3. We weren't a charity organization. We were just a bunch of builders in the Houston area wanting to try to help. And so we did. We built a home and got through the first home, and it was real successful. We built a first home, a custom home, in the south part of Houston, and that first home cost $6,000 to build. Wow. Lot, house, everything. And that was because we used the same process that we do today. As a builder, I reached out to my subcontractors, suppliers, bankers, developers, everybody, and told them what we were doing and said, hey, we need help for these families, and everybody pitched in. And after we completed that second project, the first full house, I was thinking the same thing, is that I was happy we had the opportunity to do that, but I thought that was the end of it. Well, God had other ideas. He kept, poking me and saying, hey, you need to do something else. And so my wife and I, we talked about it and prayed about it and saying, well, this is not going to change the world, but I feel like I need to do it again. So we did. So this story goes on like 5 times. We built like 5 homes.
It's amazing.
And one after another, and with the same process, same folks. Everybody kept giving, and after we did the 5th home, we realized, our builder organization down there in Houston, we kind of realized that that we had kind of stumbled onto something here. God kind of put this program in our place that we realized that we had enough subcontractors, suppliers, people in the building industry wanted to do what they do and to help our veterans. And so that's basically what we do today. And we have, we just in October last year, we celebrated our 20th anniversary. And at that time, we had delivered a brand new mortgage-free home every month, on average, for over 20 years.
Wow.
For over 20 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So, but it's, that's totally a God thing. I mean, we couldn't have done that without, without God being right there with us every step of the way. And now we have, we started out, believe it or not, we started with that simple remodel, and it turned into this program where we're building mortgage-free homes. Yeah. And now we've, in the last several years, 7, 8 years, we started doing the renovations again, because we saw, God put it on our heart the need to help our veterans, and the ones that were left behind were so much of the Vietnam veterans, the guys my age, the guys that I went to school with, and realizing that the conditions that they're living in, wanting to live in, age and place, but it was a struggle for so many of them, and where they can't get into their bathrooms, they can't get into their bedrooms, their wheelchairs go down the hallways, things like that, and so we really stepped up our program, and now we've done over 300 home modifications. Wow. In the last few years. This year, 2026, our goal is to complete 100 home modifications, along with our new home projects, and that's still going on. But this year, our main goal is to try to do 100 home modifications for mainly our aging Vietnam vets.
That's amazing. This isn't an infomercial. I always say that when I start to give out information and stuff on how people can donate, but I want to do that for the audience. OperationFinallyHome.org is the website. There's a Donate Now button right in the front for anyone that wants to help you do this incredible work. As I'm hearing you talk about it, I'm thinking about a couple things. I did this segment, this Veteran Voices segment, at a different radio station in a different place for many years before being in Texas and bringing it here. I wonder how much Texas winds up being a part of the solution. Like, it just sounds like every time I talk to people who create organizations aimed at helping vets in Texas, that the heart of this state, or even the heart of this city, comes out and shines through a little bit more than maybe other places do. Is that one of the things you might credit for just how much work you've done, is that other people in this state value the things you value?
Well, I think that is part of it. I really do. I think that just our patriot, God-loving people, as so many of us here in Texas, but not, one of the things I have learned that, we have built homes and done projects in over 41 states now, is that as I've traveled around, I have met so many wonderful people all over this country that has the same heart that we do. I think we just, like our organization, we just give these folks the opportunity to give back. We just give them a vehicle, a way to, in our industry, for them to show their love and their compassion and their dedication to our veterans. It's given so much that we can live our great lives that we do each and every day here in Texas. But but we are blessed. We're blessed that we do live here in this great state, and we have so many. I feel so blessed to have the people like Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick. That really make it easy for us to do what we do. We worked with the state legislature and helped get the tax law changed, where these veterans, they don't have to. The disabled veterans, they get a tax break on their property taxes. And that's all due to our great folks like Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick and all these great legislators. So it makes the environment we live here in Texas makes it so much easier for nonprofits like ourselves to do what we do.
Yeah, I want to say one quick thing. I found you on my own. I researched on the internet looking for organizations and was really impressed by yours. Just full disclosure, Dan Patrick owns the radio station that you're on right now, but this was not, not a connection made at all because of him. I didn't know you were going to praise the boss man, but it's cool to hear you do that. He's a great guy. Go ahead.
Well, I did not know that. Yeah. That's surprising me. Now, I did know that Lieutenant Governor Patrick, had previously been in the radio.
Yeah, he had.
Of course, I've been from Houston and things like that. But that's nice to know.
Yeah, that's funny. It's just as soon as you mentioned it, I'm like, some listener out there is going to think I did this on purpose, and Dan had no involvement in me booking you on this show whatsoever. I want to ask you one other thing though, because I found it interesting as you were talking too. Like, of course, I do think, and it sounds like you do think, that there's something special about the people here in Texas. We also have the largest amount of veterans. I think we just passed California for most veterans that live in the state. And one of the things I've noticed in talking to a lot of vets and people who help them is how unlikely they are to come forward themselves and ask for this help. How do you find the people that you wind up helping? Because so often, usually a veteran will tell you, do it for somebody else needs it, and yet so many of these people do need this type of help. How do you pick the people that you wind up serving?
Well, I tell you what, you're exactly right. That is one of our biggest challenges, is finding these guys that and get them to apply for this help that they do need. You know, that happens over and over and over when we try to present a new home to a family or whatever. I'd say more often than not, they say, "Hey, I know someone that deserves it more than I do." You know, and that's not a one-off. That happens all the time, and we find that, and the same with the Vietnam vets, and all of them. And what is so heartwarming to me too is, you know, on these home modifications, when we see folks, you know, my age, and you're going in there and make their life easier, and they're absolutely tearing up and crying because finally somebody has appreciated, you know, the sacrifice that they have made, and being able to do it here in Texas and of course all over the United States. But I just feel especially blessed that we just live in an environment that makes it easy for us. You know, we do a lot of work with the Texas Veterans Commission, and a good shout out to them, because we get a grant from them every year that we're able to help with a lot of these modifications for our Texas veterans, and they make it very possible for our veterans. So if there's some veterans out there that need help, they can go online, and there is money available through the TVC that enables us to help them with their needs for their home modifications.
What's also great, you don't know this either, and it's just funny you keep doing this. I literally interviewed the TVC last week, so you're the next episode after the TVC, which is just so awesome. The call outs and shout outs you're doing. Let me ask you about community involvement and people who help, maybe VFWs, any sort of organizations like that wind up being a conduit to assistance for you, or maybe that's not an opportunity or an avenue you've gone before. But I have seen that the community organizations typically wind up gravitating to causes like yours.
They do, and we work a lot. One example, it's not so much some of these organizations. It's just an example of when we build a new home for a family. We don't tell them that they're going to get new furniture, get new dishes, new stuff like that.
Sure.
But I would say probably 90% of the time, by the time we end up building that home, the community gets together and finds out these families they don't have anything. They need furniture. They need different things, and most of the time the houses are fully furnished with, all the way down to Q-tips in the bathrooms. And I got to give a shout out. I got to give a big shout out to HEB. They have been one of our partners for the last probably 15 years. And they assist us with the home modifications and the new homes, and they have done this for forever. And they'll do anything from monetarily helping us all the way to stocking the pantries. And so HEB is one of our big contributors and big sponsors, and they're just a wonderful group of people.
That's awesome. I will say this. I've never experienced what you're talking about, a veteran being gifted a home like this, and I can't imagine the emotion behind it. I have gone to Honor Flight before, which I'm sure you've probably heard of, and I've seen veterans, and I've actually spent the whole day, because I've done the trip where you go to D.C., with guys that I would describe to you as some of like the toughest dudes you meet. Especially the Vietnam guys, from the moment you first meet them in the morning, spending the whole day with them, and when they get back home for what's called a welcome home, and there's kids standing there kind of cheering for them. I've seen a lot of these guys break down and cry, the way you described someone, get hit with that emotion. Can you think of a specific story or anything you could share with us to help kind of humanize that? Because every time I hear someone say that, I immediately envision the people that I went with and spent time with, and how moving it is to watch these individuals, like it seems like they're almost releasing something that might be well beyond whatever the gift is. But go ahead.
Yes, it is very. I could tell you story after story of the way our program works is we surprise all the families with the new homes, and they don't know they're getting them. It's a total surprise.
Wow.
And time and time again, and we've done this. These surprises at the Texans football games. We've done it at UT football games. We've done it at basketball games. We've done it at churches. We've done it. We've done these surprises at so many different venues. And but the time and time again, I've watched as they find out that they're getting this home. You get so many varied reactions from just total shock to they just break down and cry. And some of them are just known. I mean, there's just no emotion. I mean, just,
shock.
But it's just shock. But time and time again, you can see, literally, you can just see the burdens just lifted from their face. I mean, it's just immediate. And the reactions from the kids, the children, it's just amazing. I mean, it is definitely a gift from God, and to be able to enjoy being able to enjoy that reaction and knowing that you had some little part in it is just amazing. It really is. You can't you can't outgive God, and that saying, it's more blessed to give than receive.
Sure.
It truly is. It truly is.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I wonder how many people that you've worked with over the years that wind up getting addicted to helping these individuals, because you said a thing early on in the discussion, which I find so absolutely true, especially with Vietnam veterans. They feel forgotten. They feel like the thing they did is they haven't been given the correct gratitude from our society for the sacrifice they made, especially the guys, all of the people who do this, but especially the men and women who begrudgingly went to that conflict and fought in it and then were treated horribly when they came home. And you said you're working with a lot of Vietnam veterans now. Is that a unique kind of, I know you're probably not intentionally doing that per se, but is that kind of a unique extra thrill to allow these people that I've heard stories about getting spit on, about all kinds of horrible things.
Oh, yeah.
And now, finally, at this, and you said they're even around your age, when you see these guys finally be given something that they do definitely deserve. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. It is. It's just so heartwarming to see. And the thing about Vietnam, and I lived that era, and a lot of my buddies, like I said, went and never came back the same. And some of these young men that served came from very meager backgrounds, and so not educated, went in over there at 18, 19 years old. Suffered traumatic shocks and injuries and all kinds of things, and they came back and they were just not appreciated, and then really lived a life of just a very meager means, not being able to support themselves and support their families, and it's just been and it shows, when we go and we enter into these homes and we see the conditions they're living in and that they have lived in since those days. And it's a disgrace. It's such a, but now it's something that in these last days for these people, we can make their lives a little bit better by, just a simple thing of being able to get them into their shower. I mean, you and I don't even think about stuff like that. No. That's just something, we just take for granted. But we had a case just the other day, and they sent me a picture of it, where this Vietnam vet, his grandson, he had his grandson take a Sawzall and cut out the front of his tub so that they could get him into that tub shower. Wow. And that's horrible. To think that's the kind of conditions they have to do just so they could clean themselves. I mean, we're talking about America's heroes.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that we see each and every day, and it's just an embarrassment to a country that our heroes are living like that. And it's just a disgrace. And it's just a simple, it's just a simple thing as just renovating that bathroom to make their life just a little easier. And that means the world to them. I mean, absolute the world to them that they can get in and out of the shower now. It's like I said, it's hard for us to comprehend, but just those little simple things that we can do, and and we're not talking about a whole lot of money. We're a few $1,000s. We can change the lives of a veteran completely.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is I've heard veterans tell me that they're trained, their whole lives and through the things they do in the military to live in conditions like that. They almost credit their training with their tolerance to something that the rest of us couldn't fathom, but they deserve so much better. And you just said that. They deserve to live as well, if not better, than the rest of us.
Right.
It's interesting you say just a couple $1,000s. One more time, OperationFinallyHome.org is the website, OperationFinallyHome, all one word, .org. Donate now. Do you get a lot of individual donations? Is that one way that you're capable of doing this?
We do. We are, one of the things that I've learned over the last 21 years in doing this stuff, we live with a group of folks here in the United States that are so giving. There's so many people around this country that are willing to give. And this is all we need, is just to be able to tell these stories. And, we've got people that's been with us literally since day one, that's been contributing to our cause. And it's been amazing. And because they see the work that we're able to do and the lives we're able to change and touch. And so, that $10, $15 donation means a lot. And then we have people that give thousands of dollars, each year. And so, but it takes all of us, the people that can afford $10 and the ones that can afford 10,000, so, and we have all of them. And so we've been very blessed. That's one of the things that the Lord has been enabled us to be able to do this, as He has really put some wonderful donors in our path over the years, and we've been able to do this work, and if we have a goal of doing 100 projects this year, the Lord He always provides, and I know He'll do it again this year, and so it's been a blessing for me personally, just to see God's hand at work over the last 21 years, and just to see a lot of people. My wife and I both have said this. A lot of people literally have lived their whole life and never really could say they've seen a miracle from God, and
wow,
we can honestly say that we have seen hundreds of miracles in over the last 21 years.
That's incredible. Before we go, I want you to be able to shout out. You said HEB, but you said there are other organizations that help get this done for you. If you can think of any, I know I'm putting you on the spot, that you want to shout out. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say that over the last 21 years, the building industry in whole has just been incredible. Great partners a lot of builders. I hate to name a lot of them because I don't want to leave any out.
I got you.
But a lot of the major home builders across the country have partnered with us for so many projects, and it's just been amazing. The National Association of Home Builders they're one of our partners. The Great Eastern Builders Association has been a partner of ours since day one, and that's a great group of people. That's where I started. That was my Home Builders Association, and that's where we got started. And they have supported us over the years, and they've just been a great bunch of guys down there and gals, and they still support us here today. And and again, we've had so many great partners over the years, like I said, the Houston Texans, HEB. I could just go on and on and on.
That's awesome.
Folks, it's been amazing. Oh, and Gallery Furniture, Mac out there, he is. Yeah, I couldn't tell you how many houses that he has supplied furniture for us over the years.
Mattress Mac's an awesome guy. I'll put that.
He is.
Yeah, he's an incredible dude. I got to meet him once so far, and I've only been living in Texas for a couple years. Before I let you go, there's a place to apply as well on the website for anyone that is looking for this assistance. And as you stated, and as I've experienced through any kind of organization that does outreach to veterans, so many veterans are so reluctant to do this. But it sounds like you have the capability to help people if they go ahead and apply, at least as many as you can. So apply today is on the website as well, Operation Finally Home. Anything else you'd like to tell us? Anything else you want people to look for before I let you go?
Yeah, and if you know of a veteran or you know somebody that needs help, this is a free service. I mean, this is something we do, and so encourage your neighbor, your local veteran that you know is struggling in their home conditions and things like that. Just tell them to please reach out to us. Go online. The application process is very simple, and somebody will reach back out to you immediately. I mean, within a day or so, once you make your application, and they'll walk you through the process. And if you, of course, there's some qualifications that you have to meet. We have to vet because of our our donors and people that we have a responsibility to make sure we're serving the right people for the right reasons and things like that. But the process is fairly simple, and so we encourage the veterans to go on and first responders to go on and apply. So.
Cool. Thank you very much. One more time, Dan Walrath, the founder and CEO of Operation Finally Home, an incredible organization doing a bunch of work to put veterans into brand new houses and to remodel a lot of homes for veterans that are very much in need. I look forward to talking again soon, sir. Yeah, I do look forward to talking to him again soon. That guy is freaking awesome, and that organization is freaking awesome, and the things they do for veterans is freaking awesome. As you heard, Operation Finally Home is the website to go to get stuff done with a veteran that needs a house and needs maybe something remodeled. By the way, Dan Walrath, he wears a cowboy hat everywhere he goes. He is about as Texas gets. I found a bunch of photos of him, a bunch of other interviews he did and videos that are out there, and I was laughing because cowboy hat seems stapled to his head. So even another reason to like this guy. He's as Texas as they get. That's it. That's the whole show. Thrilled to be with you as always. KSEV, KGBC, the Voice of Texas, the Craig Collins Show, back on Monday. Talk to everybody then. Have a great weekend, everyone.
You're listening to the Voice of Texas, AM